Doctors. We hope you're enjoying our shows previously. Coming up today, we're going to make some drinks. I'm Chad Buss, Albert Harris. Ready?
We're ready.
What are we going to do?
So today we're going to make some classic cocktails. These are some of our favorite drinks that we kind of make on the regular. Today we're going to cover, Chad's going to make
Old Fashioned and a Manhattan.
And I'm going to make a Vieux Carre and a Mint Julep. It is Derby time, so.
Yeah, Derby's tomorrow.
Derby's tomorrow.
Derby's tomorrow.
Now, when this gets released, the Derby may not be tomorrow.
May not be tomorrow,
Yeah.
but just pretend.
Yeah.
Derby's tomorrow.
A Mint Julep's a great drink, really. Anytime
All
it's warm
summer.
out. You bet.
All summer. It's a summer drink.
Let's make some drinks.
All right, let's go. I'm going to start out. So, classic cocktail, the Old Fashioned. They used to call it the whiskey cocktail. That was its original name. And actually, Old Fashioned is what the name of the glass was. It's a classic glass, like Albert has there. So then it suddenly became the name of the cocktail that they made in that glass. Any Old Fashioned is going to start with a base of some sweetness, okay? And you can do that a lot of ways. I do it with a little warm water and a sugar cube. Put it right on in.
Now, do you like anything special for your sugar cube?
I use those. Those are some sugar cubes.
When you say those
in Europe, the sugar cubes that we have here, you can show them the Demerara. Then
Demerara sugar cubes.
I take and I muddle that sugar down in, and I don't use a lot of water, just an ounce or two to get that sweetness going. You muddle the sugar down in there. Then I add my fruit. I like to take the orange and just take the peel around the rim of the glass, give it a little squirt, put that in. Cherry. You can muddle the cherry. Some people like to muddle the cherry. I'm not a big fan of muddling the cherries. These are Bada Bing bourbon cherries.
Not a sponsor, but
not a
could
sponsor. Be. Why not? I'll even turn your label. Then they kind of are a sponsor almost. So now you got your base, right? Then I take my ice. I prefer a nice larger ice cube. You got that for me, Albert?
One large ice cube.
Now you got your base of the cocktail. Now you only need one ingredient. That's it.
It's the main ingredient.
And you can choose. I'm choosing Maker's Mark. I think it's a great bourbon for cocktails. I think it's great bourbon overall, but it's perfect for cocktails like this. And then you just fill it on up. However, whatever mood you're in. You know, you can put enough in there if you're in a bad mood, you can put yourself in a good mood.
That's one way to do it.
If you're in a good
mood,
one way to do it. You might be in a bad mood. Who knows? Or you may be in a better mood.
And don't drink when you're in a bad mood. Just,
Then I just give it a little stir and get her ready. Now she's ready to go. What do you got for me?
All right.
Al?
So I am going to make a Vieux Carre. It's a cocktail that came out of New Orleans. And it is a little bit of a heavy hitter because it's just all alcohol.
Pretty much.
So we start. Yeah, let's measure up. So you start 1 part bourbon, and I'm using some wild turkey. Now I will say the Vieux Carre originally came as a rye-based cocktail. This is 2, yeah. So we'll not go crazy.
For 2, man.
Let we the night's early. So 1 shot of whiskey. Again, traditionally rye, but I'm using a high rye whiskey in a wild turkey. The spice is really balanced out by our next ingredients, a little bit of cognac. So we're using Courvoisier today, but really Hennessy, Courvoisier, whatever you've got. It's again, I think the bourbon really should be the shine in your drink. So we're gonna throw equal parts bourbon, Courvoisier,
cognac,
and then a little more sweetness with some sweet vermouth. Now, key is sweet vermouth, not dry vermouth.
1, 1, 1.
1, 1, 1. Well, that was a little more than 1, but you know, sometimes it gets a little messy when you make a drink. The last part,
Dom Benedictine.
A little benedictine. So this is a honeyed liqueur. You really just want a splash.
They say a tablespoon, teaspoon.
Yeah. The drink is sweet enough. You don't need to add a lot of this for sweetness. I will say, typically when I'm making this, I will sometimes make this in a shaker with a little bit of ice to cool it down. But, when in a pinch, you certainly, a warm drink, this is not a bad drink when it's a little bit warm.
You going to put ice?
I do like a little bit of cherry. And then the last thing to go, if I can get a cherry here. One cherry.
Got it.
And then a dash of Peychaud's bitters.
Peychaud's bitters.
Now, this is another thing that you can kind of mix up. You can try some different bitters, aromatics. You can try some. I think we have some cherry bitters.
Aromatic, cherry.
We've got some black walnut bitters. Those are really good. So mix it up. Bitters are a good way to kind of mix up your cocktail.
I'll sometimes throw a little bitters in my old fashioned too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Little aromatic bitters. What do we got here? Some agnostura aromatics. Maybe I'll just throw a couple dashes. There we go.
And then a little swirl.
And a cheers.
And a cheers. That's good stuff.
That's really good. Next two drinks, Manhattan, Mint Julep. I'm starting out with the Manhattan Classic cocktail.
I will mention that
Where do you think they thought of it at?
We did time travel a little bit, just so you know. We're fast forward. We finished our drinks.
Where do you
we're
think
on to
they
the next
found?
ones.
Where do you think they came up with a Manhattan at? I'll give you one guess.
Jersey.
Manhattan, baby. That's like saying who's buried in Grant's tomb.
Yeah.
All right. I start out with my Manhattan. There's a couple ways to do this. People sometimes I'll show you, put in a fancy glass. Start out with a little ice. Where's my cubes, man? Where's my balls?
We'll start out with a little ice.
Start out with a little ice. Just put it in a glass. Real easy. I try to do a high rye bourbon, something with a little spice to it because it's sweetened out. And I try to make mine a little generous,
So you're not a big believer in the
that's generous.
The measuring of your drinks.
No, I do not measure. Well, occasionally I measure. I measure for a Vieux Carre like you did because I think it's an important ratio. In this, I think the ratio is less important. Here's what you want. You want a lot of whiskey. And then you want to sweeten it up with a little
That's
vermouth.
fair, right?
Just a drab. What's a drab? And then bitters. I use aromatic bitters. These are the straightforward Angostura. Sometimes I'll use Hella, some bitters.
So that's a
that
pretty
around,
simple cocktail, huh?
Cherry. I garnish it with a cherry. Now, some people will say, well, wait, why are you making it in that glass? It's supposed to go in this glass. And you can do that. And then throw your cherry in. That worked out well.
Yes, people. We're surgeons.
And then that's your Manhattan. Or you put it in the other glass. Whatever works. Well, I'm not going to do that yet until you tell me what you're doing.
All right.
Go.
We're going to do a mint julep now. I'm going to try to recover from that.
That got you going, man. That's fun.
It's fun.
It's good.
So the mint julep, it's the Derby for us is tomorrow. It is the classic drink of the Kentucky Derby. And, of course, the main ingredient is a little mint. So you're going to hand me a few things of mint.
How many you want?
Just give me a branch for now to
There
start.
you go.
So, you'll see all kinds of different recommendations for how much mint to start with. These are pretty big leaves, but you know what? I like some mint in my drink. So I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of a little mint.
Don't be afraid.
So you'll see anything from 3 big leaves to I've seen as much as 17, 18.
What are you afraid of, by the way, when you make that? What?
It might be too minty. Nobody wants a drink that tastes like toothpaste.
That isn't something that should cause you fear.
Right. No, but it is America in 2021.
With simple
and
syrup.
Without being
And you
carried
sweeten it
away.
up with simple syrup. You can use
sweeten it up with
a
simple
lot of
syrup.
different things,
Yes.
But
So
just like
simple
with
syrup.
the old fashioned, as a base of sweetness, I've used simple syrup. I use sugar water there, which is essentially simple syrup. I've used honey simple syrup. I've used maple syrup.
So
a base of sweetness.
Simple syrup, it's just sugar and water. You can buy it at the store. That's what this is. You can also
You can
make your
it.
own, a little bit of water, some sugar, and a microwave. You can make your own simple syrup.
Mm-hmm.
It stores for a long time, so really it's easy to make. You can use honey. You can use a bunch of different products to make your own simple syrup. This is just
I've
what
seen
we have.
cranberry simple syrup, all kinds of fruits.
So for the
Come
drink,
on, get back to your mint julep.
you want a tablespoon or two of simple syrup. It is a little bit to your liking. How sweet do you like your drink, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you want to muddle. Can I muddle?
You want to muddle?
Can I muddle?
Muddle.
So when you muddle, you're just trying to release some of the oils and the flavor of the mint. You're not trying to make like
that's
mint
a key.
Mash, right?
When you muddle,
Like
do not mash. It's not. You're not trying to
you're
tear
just
that
trying to,
thing
like,
up. You're just trying to release the
You're
oils,
just trying to
man.
release some of the flavor and the oils. So
Do not tear it up.
there's that. So now we want some ice. Now, if you're making a classic, mint julep, it calls for
Just
a
use
lot
your
of
hand.
ice. And
Just use your hand.
we didn't. So we're just gonna make a mess because we didn't prepare quite. And typically you want cracked ice. If it heaps up over a little bit, that's fine too.
That's too much ice.
It's not too much ice. It's fine. Now, if you really want to give me a new fresh mint thing there, will you? Like a nice one, yeah.
What do you mean? Are there
I
bad
don't know.
ones?
Oh, maybe. So
Okay.
you want a little mint in your, and that looks a little ridiculous. Let's break that down a little bit. But part of it is for the aroma of the mint. So you stick that in there.
You're a
and
plastic
then
surgeon, and you gotta make it look good.
well, I'm making it look good, but let me tell you, it's messy before it looks good. All right, and then traditionally you want 2 to 2.5 ounces, and I'm just kind of eyeballing this. There you go.
Oh,
Maybe a little bit more.
That's like one. That's like 1 ounce.
Yeah.
Go 2.
There's 2. So you want about 2 ounces of bourbon in your drink. Now you might be afraid that this is going to water down, and it's a lot of ice. But with the cracked ice or crushed ice, the temperature actually holds pretty well, so it doesn't melt and dilute your drink too much. And you should have a nice little mint julep.
That concludes this episode of the Bourbon
We're not gonna
Doctors.
drink our
Remember,
drinks? What if
subscribe.
it's not any good?
Huh? I know mine's good.
Oh, Jesus.
All right. I know it's good. That there's no doubt. Yours maybe, but remember to subscribe, watch us, like us, and what else?
Bourbon is for drinking.
Be safe, have fun. Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
Let's go.
The problem with this is the mint leaf kind of pokes you in the eye.